Hi everybody, Susan here with a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. We're going to be making this card here. We're going to say goodbye to our Tranquil Tide. It's one of the in colors that is retiring with his catalog, and we're pairing it with the Mint Macaroon today because this lovely Designer Series paper, I'm sad to say, is going as well. The Share What You Love Designer Series paper. And those are two of the greens that are coordinating colors in that paper design. So, I have to tell you, I did see this card. It's not my original idea. It was posted on Facebook. I believe it was on Stampin' Cafe. And the creator who posted it there was Bonnie O'Neill. So thank you, Bonnie, for the inspiration for this card. I'm sharing it with you today, and then I'm also going to share it with my stampers when we get together this weekend. So let's do a quick rundown of how we put it together. Okay, so obviously we're using the Daisy Delight stamp set, and we're going to use the coordinating Daisy Punch. Okay, here are our card basics. I have a very vanilla envelope, I have a very vanilla card base, so I'm just going to fold that in half, use my bone folder. Okay, then I have a layer of Mint Macaroon, and as you can see, I'm going to steal with my rectangular framelit the center of that. Now I can steal that because we're going to layer that piece onto our card base. Alright, so I'm going to layer that on my card base, and then I have a piece of Tranquil Tide that I've run through my Petal Burst folder that's going to cover that layer. So we're not going to see my stolen bit out of that first layer. See, all this is just going to build on top of each other, and then I can take this one with the pretty stitched edging on top, and then we'll add the Designing Series paper, which I've cut down just inside that stitched shape measure. And there we go. See how easy that front of that card goes together? So let's go ahead and put that together with our snail. So first I'm going to start with the Mint Macaroon frame. Just going to get enough around the edges so that it doesn't lift up on you. Alright, now you just want to make sure you get this right on the edge of your card so that it all lines up nice and neat. Okay, sometimes when you cut your card you'll have a little overlap, and I have a little overlap there. So what I'll do is I will take my paper trimmer, which I think I have right here. Is this my paper trimmer? Yep. And I'm just going to trim off just a smidge. Just a smidge. Yep. So just give it a little bit of a trim, and then that takes that edge right off. So if yours is just a little bit long, you can always just chop it down on your paper trimmer. Okay, now I'm going to add the layer that I put through the embossing folder. Now when you put down embossing foldered cardstock, sometimes it's really bumpy. This one's pretty flat. But you want to make sure you get enough adhesive on there so it sticks. And a lot of times I'll add it with dimensionals, just so I know it's going to stick. But this card has a lot of layers, and I don't want the dimensionals to be between those layers. I'm going to keep that nice and flat. Alright, now we're going to put this piece of Designer Series paper, which I've measured to fit inside of the framed die cut, just like that. Okay, that's going to go on there. Now, we are going to use the retiring, I love this velvet ribbon, the retiring ribbon, just to add a little bit of texture and fun to our card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. Okay, I'm going to add some snail down here where that ribbon's going to wrap around, and I'm just going to tack that down. Make sure I get this straight. So just tack that into the snail in the back. Now, this ribbon has some bulk, so you want to use dimensionals to offset that bulk. Okay, so I'm going to put dimensionals like that. Now, I didn't put it here because we've got the bulk there already, but what I am going to do is I'm going to use glue dots just to put a little extra adhesive on that ribbon so that it will stick to the cardstock and not pull out. Ever have that happen? The ribbon will pull out sometimes. So just for a little extra adhesive there. Gotta pull off my dimensional backers. And then I'm just placing this off center so that when we build our daisy, it can be over here in the corner. Okay, so there's the card base. Now, we're going to go ahead and stamp with Tranquil Tide. I'm going to stamp 2 daisies. Now I'm going to look at my punch. It goes straight up and down, so I want to stamp straight up and down best I can. So I'm going to put 1 daisy here. And I'm going to put another daisy here. Okay, now I could just go right ahead and punch those out, but instead I'm going to bring in the mint macaroon and a sponge dauber, and I'm just going to add a light inking to make them two-tone daisies. Okay, now the first time I made the card I punched them out and then I did this, and then I thought, well, now I've got this really dirty mess mat. If I do it first, then I just have it on the scrap, so that's why I'm showing it this way. Okay, so that's all filled in. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my punch, my coordinating punch, to just free these. Take your time to center it so you get it where you want it. There's one. Here's 2. All right, 1, 2. Now, those I'm going to put together with a glue dot between the flowers. Okay, and I'm going to offset those petals. Okay, and then I'm going to put that onto my card with a dimensional, so I'm getting that lift there. Now, sometimes I take the petals and I bend them all up to make them kind of look like, you know, a daisy, right? A frilly daisy. But sometimes I fold them back. I just kind of bend them back over my shoulder, over my fingers. It's been a long day. And kind of give them a little bit of lift. So that's what I'm doing on this one. Now I'm going to add that dimensional. I don't want to get it right on top of my ribbon because it's not going to stick well. I want to get it just above. So I'm just going to feel and put that on there. Okay, so now let's go ahead. I'm going to use a gold faceted gem. I'm going to use a really big one and put that in the center, and that coordinates really nicely with this paper too. All right, so there's all of that. Now we need to add our little tag. So I have a little 3/4 inch by 2 inch piece of scrap cardstock. I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm going to stamp it kind of close to the bottom. Let me see. And you'll see why I'm stamping it close to the bottom in just a second. So I've stamped it. Now I'm going to trim it just a little bit closer up the edges. Okay, but now I'm going to leave it long on the top there. Anybody think they know why? I didn't attach this ribbon in the front, right? So I can slide this up and under and have that be a little more secure, not be so tiny, and it's not going to be so showing, so it'll be hidden behind that ribbon. So I'm just going to bring that in a little bit, tack that down. Now don't run your fingers over that, it's going to smudge. Flip it over, do it this way. Okay, so there's that. Now for the inside, why not add a little bit of extra, right? So I have another piece of vanilla that I'm going to stamp my thank you on, right in the center there. Okay, so there's my thank you, and I'm going to put another daisy on the inside. So I'm going to 2-step stamp the daisy this time, directly on the card. So first I've got it going this way, and then I'm going to position it between the petals that way, and I'm going to come back in with that sponge dauber again and just really lightly add just a little bit. Not go crazy, but just add a little bit of that two-tone. Right there. Now you could just stamp your thank you right here if you wanted to, but I decided to add this extra layer on the inside just so it stands off a little bit. Okay, now for the envelope, I'm going to repeat that daisy idea. I'll stamp it right here in the corner, and again I'm going to offset it, stamp that down, and then if you want to, go ahead and add some of that two-tone ink into your daisy there as well. So, fun little stamping techniques, easy layers, using our embossing folders and our dies and our fun embellishments. And there we have a beautiful card using beautiful paper and one of the colors that's going away. So, if you haven't gotten your retiring cardstocks and designer series papers and coordinating inks, I'm not even sure how much of it is left out there on the retiring rack, but I would suggest you get it before June 3rd, the end of June 3rd, because that's the end of the catalog. And get ready for the new catalog coming in, because we're going to have all kinds of new stuff to share and stamp with, so I'm so excited. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed it today. Again, thank you, Bonnie O'Neill, for sharing your idea with us. And do some fun stamping, guys. All right, all the tutorial ideas and directions will be on the Show and Tell newsletter next Tuesday. You can subscribe or go visit my blog and you can see it over there too. All right, guys, thanks. Bye-bye.